Hey everybody, Larry Lawton here. This is the video you all been waiting for. The prison pasta video. We already told you guys how to make a stinger and the bowl, and we're going to be making pasta just like I made it in prison. Obviously I'm not in a prison cell, but believe it or not, I'm using everything I can that was in the prison cell, and this is just me. First thing you got to do, obviously, you got to get the certain ingredients you need. How do you get those ingredients? I'm going to explain that right now. First of all, right here, I have pasta. We used to steal pasta out of the kitchen. We used to get it in 10-pound bags. One time I went to the hole for having over 40 pounds of pasta in the unit. 40 pounds. Think of what that is. This is 1 pound of pasta. So we need the pasta, obviously. We're going to be making aglio olio in prison style, and I'm going to be using the stinger, the bowl, and everything, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing this. Next thing you need in all of this is garlic. The commissary sold garlic. The commissary sold olive oil. Not these big jars, the little ones, but they sold olive oil. We also need pepperoni. These are the exact pepperonis they used to sell in prison, except it wasn't gluten-free. They didn't care about our health, not at all. Well, what do you do for utensils? It wasn't like you had a knife and a fork. You had forks and knives, but plastic. So that's not going to do you any good. So you have to cut up your garlic, and this is the first process. We would get razor blades. You see a razor blade. Well, what do you do with a razor blade? The first thing you do with the razor blade is you have nail clippers. So you take your nail clippers, and then your first thing is you take them apart. You actually take the nail clipper apart by going like this, putting it out, and now look how big that is. And the reason you want that space is because on the back of these razors, which we used to even get in the hole, you don't want to ruin this piece because you want to put it back so you can give it to the prisoners, to the prison guards, especially in the hole. Out on the yard, it wasn't a big deal. We used just to get them and throw them out. But in the hole, you had to do it this way. So now you clipped off the backs, and then you take this and you open it up and you pop it. It'll pop off. It pops off, and here is your razor. You take your razor. Now again, look what happened. It's hard to get that off. You don't want to get cut. So now you take this and you want to take this razor blade out of this. See what I'm doing? I'm actually taking it out, and if you have a hard time, what do? You just clip some more of the thing. And again, when you're in prison, guess what you got? You have time. And the reason you want to cut them off is so you can get that razor blade out, because you need that razor blade. And sometimes it could take you a long time to get that razor, because if you don't do it right, you can't give the razor blade back. I need a paper towel. That'll happen a lot. I got one right here. So you just get it, you cut your finger, and that happens a lot. Getting cut, kind of normal in prison, and I'm gonna get a Band-Aid. As you can see, I cut my finger already. Typical in this kind of business. But the reason you put it so perfect, the razor when you cut it, here's what you do next, is you get magazines. As I used to tell you, we used to get magazines in, and here's I'm going to show you what we used to use for cologne in prison. Well, when you get a men's magazine, they all come with these things, and they're like, they smell good. So what we used to do is we used to take a razor blade and go straight down, and now I would keep these all around my unit. And the reason I kept these around my unit is because when I had a visit, I would go like this, and these are smell. They smell of the cologne. And before a visit, you would rub it all over yourself, and you actually smell that fragrance. So that's how we have people say, wow, I went and saw my brother-in-law, I went and saw my husband, and he smelled good. You don't get cologne in prison, you get these. And believe it or not, they really smell good. So then, what you did to really trick the guard, and you see this piece of silver on this right here? I would cut this out exactly like a piece of razor. I would put that in here, I would put the top back on, and when the guard comes and gets this razor from me in the hole, he looks and he goes, oh, he sees a razor. When he sees the razor, they put it in a garbage bag because they don't want to touch your razor either. That's how you get razor blades in prison. Next step, we're gonna peel garlic. And believe it or not, this is the tedious part. When I was in Jessup, I used to cook for about 11 or 12 guys. Now I would sit, we would be eating at about 12:30 in the unit because that's chow time and guys would come over from other units. So what they would do is, I would say, okay, be here by 12. And I would start at about 10 in the morning, doing what I'm doing right now, exactly what I'm doing, peeling garlic. And you know, you want to talk about tedious, but you know, you're in prison. What are you doing? And I was known to make pasta. And when I tell you pasta, we used to feed everybody. Now, when I say everybody, you had to either be without click or good. And what I mean by that is, it didn't matter what you were. It didn't matter if you were black, Hispanic, or white guys. Usually the white guys did their own thing, the black guys did their own thing, or guys who were cool with us would be able to get involved in this, and they'd say, hey Lawton, man, can you make me a bowl? Can you make me a bowl? So the next thing, so I'm doing all of this, and I'm gonna show you how we cook the garlic. Every unit in the prisons I was in, they had one microwave. Now that one microwave was for 100 guys. Well, we would dominate that microwave on a certain day, and everybody who in that unit would know, oh man, those guys are making pasta. It got so good in Jessup, Georgia, that we used to take the microwave out of the day room, and I used to bring it into my cell. And I would have the whole unit smelling like garlic and then the pepperoni, which we're gonna be making. I'm gonna show you how we do this. So I'm gonna wanna hear about who makes prison pasta at home, and if you make it as good as I do. Maybe I'll have a bowl with you someday. But so far, I'm just peeling my garlic, and when I did this in prison, I literally would be making pasta for 11 guys. I would maybe peel 10 bowls, just like I'm doing. And wait till I show you how I used to cut it up too. Now, we used to take the garlic from here and literally do what I'm doing. Literally. Take it and peel it by hand. We're not talking about choppers now. I remember when I first got out of prison, I thought it was the biggest deal in the world when I had a slap chopper. Now this is what I'm doing, and I do this, and I used to do this for sometimes 2.5 hours, 3 hours. Obviously, I'm not gonna take that long today, because we're gonna probably move through a little of this, but you know what? We have to let you know how it goes and why we do it the way we do it. And you know, it brings back memories, just doing it this way. You know, I've been out of prison for 13 years was this year. I got out of prison in 2007. Today is 2020, and the guards used to get to know who we were. And when we blew a fuse, when we did something, they'd go put it back on for us. Because you know why? They wanted it. They knew we were good dudes. They knew we wouldn't do anything bad to the food. Now, the ingredients for all of this, you need, depending on how much pasta and how many people you're eating, usually, we were big eaters, so a pound of pasta would be for 2 guys. You need olive oil, you need pepperoni, you need Parmesan cheese. We used to get Parmesan cheese, again, we used to steal it and out of the kitchen. So we would have cans of Parmesan cheese. Even if they don't have it in the inmate chow hall, guess what they have it in? They have it in the officer's mess. And of course, who runs the officer's mess? More inmates. So the inmates would sell it to us. They would sell us the pasta, they would sell us the stuff we couldn't buy off the commissary. And you're gonna need, obviously, a cutting instrument, which is your razor, or in today's world, you don't need that. You can use a knife. Now, you see I have a cutting board. Believe it or not, we had a piece of plastic or something, because we had a desk. In Jessup, they had a long, like a countertop. And Jessup was one of the older prisons, so we had outlets in our cell. All new prisons don't have outlets in the cell. So, next step. This is the process that is tedious. All of this, and literally like this. I'm gonna show you why. Look how it cuts with a razor. And you know, we made it nice and thin, like they say, and it made such a difference. And here we are going to be done soon, and then I'm going to cook it. Alright, this is the fun part. You take your garlic, put it in here, and then you take olive oil, pour your oil. So you cook that in a microwave. Now I got my bowl of garlic. Obviously, you have to put it in the microwave. When you put your bowl in the microwave, you're gonna have to watch it. That's very important. Now, I know it's gonna take about 3 minutes. I'll check it out, and it'll be boiling, and it'll be perfect. So I just put the microwave on 3 minutes, and we had microwave, so this is not out of the norm. Now, while that is going on, you take, and we all had plates that were stolen from the kitchen and everything else. The next thing you do is you line a plate with paper towels, okay? Just like that. Then you take your pepperoni, and now you lay out your pepperoni. While that's going on, you're working, and I'm laying it out. Now, sometimes we had bigger pepperonis, depending on what they were selling on the kitchen at the time, but they sold this kind of stuff right here. And boy, what I would do, that's what Larry would do. So you gotta remember, I'm making food for a lot of people. So look what I do next. I lay another layer, another layer. I'm telling you, it makes a world of difference, the pepperoni. And it comes out like bacon chips. Now I got the whole unit in prison smelling like garlic. Everybody's knows, uh-oh, the boys are up there, they're cooking. But I'm gonna finish what I'm doing here, because then I'm gonna bring this to the microwave. So now, let me come back. I'm gonna look at my garlic. Wow, look at that garlic, everybody. Oh, the smell. But me, I like it a little bit better. So I'm gonna put it on another minute. And that's what I had. What I would do is literally watch that microwave and watch that the oil boils into that garlic. And unbelievable that's gonna be, I'm telling you. So now, I'm waiting for that to go. And as I wait for that to go, my pepperoni is ready. What's my next step? This is my pasta bowl. We used to get these from the paint shop or CMS and have them cut them down. We boil water, which we did already, clean them out really good. So now, my garlic is done. Oh, I want everybody to look at that garlic. If that doesn't make your mouth water, nothing will. And in the microwave goes the pepperoni. You start it out at 2 minutes. While that's going on, I go and I fill my bowl with just water. Obviously, you just give it sink water, and it doesn't matter. We used to get it right out of the, I hate to say toilet sink, but you know, they're all hooked up together. It was a toilet and a sink put together. But you're boiling water. So nobody has to worry about, oh, is it good? You're boiling water. Whatever happens, happens. Trust me, when you live in prison and you put a piece of chicken in your locker for 3-4 days, you're not worried about if it's good or not. You're hungry. You're eating it. Oh, I smell that pepperoni, everybody. All right, so now, just got it up just enough. Now, I want to show everybody something. Woo! That's hot. Now, look at this pepperoni. It's still not done. So back in, I'm gonna put it on for another, probably a minute and a half. Now everybody, we all know what this is. This is Larry's world famous stinger that I made here right on YouTube. If you haven't seen how I made a stinger, go back into the untold stories and you're gonna see Larry's stinger. Well, Larry is gonna put the stinger in the water, and then Larry is gonna plug this in and make sure that stinger is down in that water. Because if you don't, it comes out, you're gonna blow a fuse. That is gonna boil real quick. When that boils, Larry does now, he's getting his pasta ready. Now, at this time, all my friends, you know what they're doing? They're coming in with their bowls. Let's check out my pepperoni again. For Larry's liking, give me another minute. Now look at that water boiling, everybody. It's starting to boil already. I only have it in 5 minutes, not even. Here it is, 3:30. We're gonna be eating in 10 minutes. Put the pasta right in there. And you think, oh, what about the stinger? No, the stinger is 2 pieces of metal. And all they do is create current between them and they boil the water. Am I asking if it's the safest thing in the world to do? Probably not. All right, now we're gonna check to see if Larry's pasta, his pepperoni is done. Oh boy, look at that. Look at those chips. Now it's almost like chips. You see that? Still a little left. Still, Larry's a perfectionist, everybody. You can believe one thing. That pepperoni's gonna be crunchy and perfect, and it's gonna be good. Oh, there it is. Now what you do, take these little chips. Woo, they're hot. And put them in this bowl right here. Now look at that, everybody. Now what happens, I'm just crushing it up. I'm crushing all of this stuff up. That's called pepperoni chips. And look at the water boiling, everybody. Check it out. Starting to go. Here's Johnny. See how I did that, everybody? That's exactly what you do with the chips. And it gives a flavor to it that's just off the charts. This is called Prison Pasta by Larry Lawton. Let me get me a little drink here. Pasta's done. Oil's done. Here's what you do next. Well, you don't want to keep metal to that. So you had a wooden, and we had one. We had one. So now you take your pasta, you drop it in. I'm putting a whole pound in here. See, it's going right over that stinger, as you can see. It really doesn't matter. So now, just letting that boil water, move it around. You don't want your pasta to stick, everybody. Come on, you all should know that. Everybody should know that. Remember, if we were doing this, there's no oven, there's no bowl. This is in a prison cell. Oh, and look at that water boil, everybody.
Ooh, smelling good. This reminds me of the old days.
My brother is going to be eating here with us.
This is like Jessup days when we were together.
And look what we're doing. We're making pasta that will melt in your mouth with the garlic, the oil, and the Parmesan cheese, and the pepperoni. Now it's time. Well, the first thing you do, this is very important, you unplug your stinger. You don't pull it out of that liquid, because if you pull it out of that liquid, you will blow the fuse of this house. So now you got your pasta here, and look at this, I ain't wasting any of it. Now, Larry's in the unit saying, "Hi, who's up?" And you know what they're doing? What he just did. He jumps in first. And look what I'm doing. I am not draining it like you would drain, because where are you gonna drain it? Look at that. Now, that's good. Now what I'm gonna do for him, he's got the bowl. He's gonna put his garlic, he's gonna put his pasta, he's gonna put his pepperoni, and he's gonna hound it with cheese, and he is in. See now, there's a lot of oil in there because I put it in there. You can see it on the bottom. So what you do when there's a lot of oil is you
mix it up with.
You mix it up with the cheese. The cheese sucks it up. Listen, we used to do, and I'm not kidding you, we would have 10, 12, 15 guys want my pasta. And I had sometimes 2 bowls going. It does not get better than that. But with that said, I know we're gonna close. I want you to let us know what you think of the video. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We got some more great videos coming. They got a robbery series coming. More cooking shows. All right, guys, have a great day. Much respect for everybody. Stay out of trouble. Don't go to prison to make this. Make it at home. Enjoy it at home. Have a great day, everybody. Stay strong. A lot of respect. Thanks for being a supporter. Have a great day.